Right, welcome. In today's video, we want to look at how to handle a transfer between a main bank account and a cash account, and also how to account for transactions which happen through the cash account using QuickBooks. So we're going to use a case study. We're going to use a case study. Let me just go to the case study. Let me share that screen of the case study so that we have a background of which transaction. So we're going to use the case study of Survey Trading Private Limited for April 2024. So this is a financial summary of Survey Trading Private Limited, of which we are told Survey is just a medium-sized company based in Chile. So we have got these transactions, whereby on 1 April 2024, there was a transfer from KEB's bank account to cash account of that much. So we're going to run through this transaction because we want to see the effect of these transactions. On 5 April, we had a cash withdrawal from our cash account of $500 for staff meals. Then on 10 April, we had cash withdrawal from cash account again of $200 for cleaning materials. Then we also had cash withdrawal from cash account of $100 for telephone charges on 20 April. Then on 25 April, we had a cash withdrawal from cash account of $4,100 for purchase of 500 liters of methylated spirit. This methylated spirit is what we resell to other customers, so it's trading stock. Then on 25 April, again, we had a cash withdrawal of $400 to pay the seat of Chiredzi for water and rates. So this is our case study, which we are going to use to demonstrate how do you account for such a transaction whereby cash is transferred from a main account, in this case, KEB's bank, to cash account. Then transactions are done from the cash account. So we are going to go back to our QuickBooks, then we'll see. So I'm going to share the screen, right? Okay, so we're back now in QuickBooks. So basically, for you to transact or to process these transactions, what you have to do is you have to come to banking. Then the first transaction, which says cash of 10,000 was transferred from KEB's bank to cash account, you are to process it by coming to transfer funds. So it's banking, then you are coming to transfer funds. So when you launch transfer funds, you'll be given this window, right? Then on this window, you've got a date, right? So on the transaction, on the case that we looked at, this transaction was done on 1 April. So if we were to look at the case start, let me probably just quickly share the case start again. So you'd find the first transfer, the transfer from KEB's bank to cash account of 10,000 was done on 1 April. So this is what we're going to process initially as our first transaction. So we come back to QuickBooks, which means on the date here, we're selecting 1 April, because that's when the transfer was done. And it was done from which account? It was done from KEB's bank. So we come here, we click the drop down arrow, right? We run through our chart of accounts. Then we have to realize if KEB's bank account is there. If it is not there, then we have to add it by clicking on adding. So quickly we'll add this as a bank account. So you can see the account type there is bank. Then we quickly just click on continue. Then we'll type in KEB's bank. So this one is to be typed properly. All right. So we're typing in that, right. So we're just correcting that bank. So it's KEB's bank, right, account. Okay. So the account name, we could also just copy that account name and put it under as well as the account description. Then we save and close. So we're transferring from KEB's bank to cash account. So we come to, then if we have cash account, we just look it up on the chart of accounts. If it is not there, on my accounts, it's not there. So quickly, I'm creating it again. So it's a bank account, on the type of account, it's a bank account. Then I'm just clicking on continue. Then here, quickly, I'm typing in cash account, right? Just to create that. So this is the account name, which I could just also copy and paste on the account description. So I'm just doing this quickly. Then I'm saving and closing. So, right, my transfer is from transferring funds from KEB's bank to cash account. And how much am I transferring? Is 10,000. So I'm transferring $10,000. So that's the transfer. So on the memo, I could just say transfer of funds, or I could write any description which helps me understand what is happening. Then after having done that, I then just click on save and close. So the transfer is being effected of $10,000 from KEB's bank to cash account. This is coming after one has gone to the bank and done a withdrawal and putting in the money in the safe or in the cash box. Now we want to process the other transactions. if we were to come back to our case start just to see what other transactions we have, you'd see after the transfer that was done on 1 April of 10,000, we then went on 5 April, did a cash withdrawal 500 for staff meals. On 10 April, did that to withdraw $200, and on 20 withdraw $100. Then on 25 we did that withdraw 4,100, as well as this 400 was again done on 25. Right, so we now have to go back to QuickBooks and quickly process these transactions. These transactions were now being done from the cash account. So we will come back to our QuickBooks quickly, and then we process the transaction. So for us to process those transactions, what we have to do now, we just have to come on banking, then we say write checks. We say write checks. Then when you say write checks now, the bank account that we're going to use is not Cabs Bank, because Cabs, we only transferred money from it. We are going to be using cash account. So we'll click on this arrow pointing down, then we click on cash account, right? Then it may bring this. Then if you don't want this to be popping up each time, you just have to click do not display. Then we say okay. So we've got our cash account, which has got 10,000. Then we're going to be looking at our transfer for staff meals. So basically what we'll do here, we'll select our date here, which is 5 April. Then we may want to probably put the name of who was paid. Let's say probably we bought this from KFC. So we could either say supplier, or we could just say other boys were paying cash. We could say KFC. We bought food for our staff members from KFC, right? So here we'll now come on these tabs. We've got two tabs, the expenses tab and the items tab, but we would want to use the expenses tab. Then down here, we now look for the expenses account that relates to staff meals. So we'll run through on the list of our expenses just to see if we have got something which resembles that transaction in terms of account. If we don't have, like in my case, we can just create this account by clicking on add new. Then this is an expense account. We just click on continue. Then we'll type the name of this account. And as I said, this is staff meals. You could give it whatever description. So we're typing in that as the account name. Then we are just copying again that account name and we're putting it on account description. Then I'll say it was right. So we've got our staff meals. Then how much was it? It was $500. And then on the memo we write full details of what was bought. So we could type in food bought from KFC, right, for staff meeting of 5 April. So this will actually help us know what this transaction was all about. So once we have done that, it means we are home and dry. This transaction has been done, and what we just have to do is to save and new, right? So we have done. Then on 10 April, we bought cleaning materials, right, of $200. So again, on our QuickBooks, still in the cash account, because this was done using the cash account. So we could just click there and we say 10 April. Then if you wanted to put a supplier, as I said, you could just come here, quickly click here and select the account under expenses tab, because you are expensing these expenses. So you are coming there, then you are looking for an account which resembles what you want to expense. So in this case, we could probably just use utilities. So we could use the utilities. Then how much was paid? It was $200. Then we put the description, cleaning. We could just say cleaning materials. It won't matter. So we have got cleaning materials. Then we are okay. Once we have done that, we then just click on save and new. Then we go on and we look on the next transaction. We've got $100 withdrawal, which was done from the cash account on 20 April for telephone charges. So again, we just come here. The account is the same, is cash account. We are now writing from cash account, right? So we select the date, which is 20 April. Again, on these tabs, we could specify, probably we paid to Net1, Econet, or Tel1, whoever was the provider. If the provider is not here, we quickly create the provider by clicking on add new. I'm not going to do that. Then you come down here, you are using the expenses tab. Then you are looking for an account which resembles what we paid for. In this case, it was telephone charges. So we're selecting telephone. This account is already there. How much was it? $100. Then we could just write airtime, right? Bought for staff members, right? So we bought airtime for staff members. So we're just putting in that as a description. Then once we are done, we then just save and new. Then you'd find we come on 25 April. there was a cash withdrawal. This time around, we were now buying our trading stock, which is methylated spirit that we use in our trade. So we have to account for this, and you are to see how we do it. So we'll come back here. We'll come back here to our QuickBooks. We'll come back to our QuickBooks. Then quickly, we are using cash account. The date has changed now, is 25 April. Then we bought items. Then we can specify, let's say we bought these items from Astra Pens. So quickly, I'm just going to add Astra Pens as a supplier and add Astra Pens. So we bought this from Astra Pens. So I'm going to add Astra Pens quickly as a supplier. Right, I won't put the full details. I'm just going to put in the supplier name. Then I'm also just going to edit on company name. But when you're creating your supplier, you're supposed to put all these: main phone number, work phone, if it is their mobile, main email, the contact address here, and everything else. But I'm not doing that at the moment, so I'm just clicking on OK. So we bought this as our trading stock from Astra Pens. So now, instead of expensing this, we come to items, especially if you want to track, if you are tracking our inventory using the system, we come to items. But if you are not tracking using the system, we could just come to expenses. Then we look for cost of goods account. So we have to look for cost of goods account. We could just probably type and see if we've got such an account, cost of goods. All right. If we don't have it, we just click on add new. Then this account is let's see if we've got so we've got, so this one now we're clicking on other account types. Then we are defining it as a cost of goods account. Then we are clicking on continue, right? So either we can give it as a cost of goods account, or we could probably define it as an inventory account. But in this case, let's just take it as a cost of goods account, because we are buying these items and we're selling them direct to the customer. Then we are saying COG for cost of goods sold, COGS, cost of goods sold. Then you are just saying dash methylated, I hope I'm just putting in the spelling correctly, methylated spirit, right? So this is the description of our account. I'm just copying that, the account name, then I'm pasting it on description, then save and close. So this, we are expensing this. The reason being, we are not controlling our inventory using QuickBooks. We are just buying these stocks and we're selling them direct to the customer. So we're just putting in the amount there, 4,100. So it's purchase of 500 liters of meth. I'm just going to say meth spirit, right, from Astra Pens. So we're putting in the description so that we'll know what we bought and what it was for. Then once we are done, we quickly say save and move. So we are almost there. We're only left with one transaction whereby we did a withdrawal of $400 to pay the seat of Chirezi for water and rights. So this was again done on 25, and it was paid to seat of Chirezi. So if we want, we could again quickly create seat of Chirezi as other instead of supplier, because we are taking suppliers as those who are providing us with the trading goods. We could still create seat of Chirezi as a supplier. There is no harm. They are supplying us with a service. So here quickly we create. So we say seat of Chirezi. These are our service providers. So we're creating seat of Chirezi. We pay them 400. So quickly we're creating the account so that we allocate that accordingly. Then seat of Chirezi there. Then we're coming again. We're expensing this because we paid for rent and rates. Then we come here. How much was it? We paid 400 to seat of Chirezi. So we could say rates for the month of April. So quickly we type in that 2024. Then we are done. We've expensed every expense that we incurred. So we could say now save and close. So basically this is how we account for these expenses. If we were to see the effect of this, we could either come to our reports and we can come to Kanban and financials. Then we can just view the profit and loss. You'd find when we view the profit and loss, I'm just going to enlarge that. Let's allow it to end on 30 April. We refresh that report. You'd find these expenses that we incurred are here. The cost of goods from the methylated spirit that we supplied, we bought it from Astra Pens. Then these expenses, this one paid to seat of Chirezi. This one was for staff meals. and this one was for telephone charges, then this one was for cleaning materials under utilities. So basically this is how you account for this type of expenses. When you have a scenario like this case study, this is how you do it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next other videos. Thank you.